Globalisation is the migration of different groups of people across the world. Increased access to international travel to the general public has aided in the rise of globalisation in the last century.
Or Australia as a globalised?
Like Australian
place.
cities, if the trends kept going as they do at current rate.
Okay. I think for Australian cities it probably wouldn't. It would kind of just, we'd see what's happening in the Illawarra for an example. So globalisation in the Illawarra has impacted things like the manufacturing industry, like the downsizing of BlueScope steel, the moving away from like local coal mining and moving to places like China where coal mining is cheaper and they don't pay their workers quite as much. So I think in cities like Wollongong, like regional cities where there's been a long historical focus on manufacturing, then it's probably just shifted. It's just going to shift to more like innovative like styles of like work. So people who are in services, healthcare, education.
Role and like increasing population?
Yeah, definitely, but I don't know if that's going to shift in the next. What's the time frame, like 50 years or something? Or
yeah, kind of just.
I don't know. I don't know if it's going to shift because at the moment, if you're looking at places like Sydney or Melbourne, it's just sprawling and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Or if you look at the Illawarra, you look at those new build estates down at Albion Park or Shell Harbour, and they just keep expanding out into the countryside, and people still want to have really big houses, or maybe so people still want to have their own like detached house, but the quarter-acre block dream has probably shifted. So there's more of a focus now on big houses and small backyards. So the houses take up more of the space of the block than they actually do the backyard.
Yeah.
But that sense of ownership of your own house is important. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. That's good. Thank you.
Done? Cool. Okay.
Wollongong has seen firsthand the effects that globalisation can have. What once was just an empty street is now looking more like a high-rise city apartment. Wollongong has shifted away from a blue-collar worker society into a more academic and healthcare-driven society. This has seen the extensive redevelopment of the Wollongong city centre. The two images that you are looking at here are of exactly the same location. The first one is Wollongong in 2009. The second one is how it's changed in 2015 to a completely unrecognisable environment. Okay. Do you think that globalisation has helped international students travel and expand their degree? And do you think it would have happened over the last 50 years?
I think it definitely helps. Like I study science myself, and I think it's really important for different countries to share all the information that they have, and for students it can be a really good experience to experience science in two different countries, and that way intensify the bonds that different countries have through, for example, science.
Cool, thank you. And how do you think it's changed in Europe over the past few decades?
Well, I've even noticed it in the past few years. When I first started studying in Dublin, there aren't many people in my year who did it, who went abroad like me. But over the past 3 years, more of my friends have been considering going abroad. Well, what I've noticed, especially with Irish people, is that however many years ago, they decided that they didn't want to be in Ireland because Ireland wasn't really a favourable place to live, to be honest. So I've noticed that Irish families are kind of scattered through Europe, and especially through Australia as well, of course. And I think that's affecting lots of the populations and stuff in countries like Australia or around Europe as well.
I think globalization is a good thing as long as it's handled carefully, that the money and economic factors of globalization aren't taken out of hand and poor countries aren't belittled under the bigger powers of capitalist Western countries.
A global city is a city that plays an important role in the global economic system. These cities often have large financial hubs and are also a centre point for major tourism. Examples of these cities can be seen in London, Paris and Sydney. This video that you are watching now displays the urban sprawl in Paris. As you can see, it is ever growing outwards, with little pockets of enclaves appearing everywhere.
In the matter, the developers already own 2 of our boundaries. What do? Stay here and let them build you out, or go with it?
You know, I don't really want something to happen here, but I guess if it does happen, there's no way we're going to be able to stop it anyway. So.
Development has to go ahead, but infrastructure would be good if they put that in first.
The jobs they'd have to go for is jobs at Campbelltown or Camden, Narellan, and there's not that many jobs available, so everyone's going to have to travel.
The M5's already, pretty packed as it is. Widening it helps, but it hasn't. It's made a bit of a difference, but it's still not great. So travelling to the city in peak hour is only going to get worse.
Globalisation affects us all in some way or another, whether that be financially, economically, for migration purposes, or just for a better way of life. The future of globalisation will depend on how efficiently we manage our resources and the movement of people. Having access to modern technology such as social media will play a huge role in the future of globalisation.